Hello, I'm Meghana from Vimana Institute of Technology. So our project was Devops Automation Tracker. To implement this project, we have imported three required libraries: time, random, and matplotlib. And we have created a class to track and manage the Devops automation matrices. The instance variables deployment time, it stores the duration of each deployment in minutes. Failure rates, it keeps track of the probability of deployment failures. And the recovery times, it records the time taken to recover from the failure. Next, we have defined a function known as simulate deployment. It is a function to simulate a single deployment. So here the random uniform 5,15, it generates a random deployment time between 5 to 15 minutes. And this generated time will be stored in self.deployment times. So this random.choice true, false, it determines if a deployment fails or succeeds. So if failure occurs, a random failure rate 10% to 50% is assigned. A random recovery time 5 to 20 minutes is also generated. If no failure occurs, both failure rate and recovery time are set to 0. Failure rates and recovery rates values are stored in their respective lists. Running multiple deployments. Here it loops through multiple deployments, but the default is 10. It calls simulate deployment inside a loop to generate metrics for each deployment. This time.sleep, it introduces 1 second delay between each deployment, making the simulation more realistic. Next is for visualizing deployment metrics. So here we have created a figure with 3 subplots stacked vertically. The fixed size 10,8, it sets the size of the plot. The first subplots, it deployments time with circular markers and a line. It adds a title and a y-axis label. The second subplots failure rates in red, and the third subplots for recovery times in green. plt.tight layout, it adjusts the spacing for clear view of all the graphs, and plot.show is to display the plots. Here we are running the simulation and visualizing results. So this creates an instance of Devops Automation Tracker. It calls the run simulation and it simulates the 10 deployments. It calls visualization metrics displaying the results. So now let's see the output. So this graph, it represents the deployment times, failure rates and recovery times. This blue line, it shows the time taken for each deployment. The middle graph, which is the failure rates, this red line, it represents the probability of failure for each deployment. And the bottom graph, which is a recovery times, this green line, it shows the time taken for recover from a failure. So yeah, this was the output. I have uploaded my Devops Automation Tracker project to my GitHub repository. So this is my GitHub account, Mega0202, and the code is under the Devops Automation folder. So this contains the code for the Devops Automation Tracker. And in this README, here there are basic information of the project. So yeah, thank you.